So we're really excited to have you here and just to hear about what you're doing with the David Garcia campaign.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to list off a couple of questions, but beforehand, did you want to tell us anything about, like, I don't know, anything, literally anything?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could share just a little bit about my story of like why, I decided, this campaign and now to, get involved. So I actually moved to Phoenix right after college, a long time ago at this point, to be a teacher. And I spent my whole career teaching in low-income schools in Phoenix. So I taught elementary school, and then I was also a teacher coach for many years. And so public education has always sort of, I think, been an issue closest to my heart, to making sure that kids, no matter what neighborhood you grow up in, like have access to an excellent education. Well, then a few years ago when my kids were little, I decided to put a little pause on my career to stay home with them. But I had a moment about a year and a half ago where I felt like, I'm not ready to go back to the classroom quite yet, but there's so much that I feel like our community needs. And then that's sort of when I decided, this campaign, this is the right time. This is, I'm ready to really feel like I'm contributing back to my community in a way that feels really meaningful. So that's what kind of got me started with this.
So what's your job title? Like, what is?
Yeah, so I am the North Phoenix Volunteer Team Leader, People-Driven Campaign, So we there are sort of regional volunteer teams all over the state, a few in Maricopa County. So I lead North Phoenix, which is one of our largest volunteer teams in the city.
So then what would your daily responsibilities be like?
We are running team canvases 3 times a week. So that's getting groups of people together to literally knock on doors and talk to voters. So it's setting all the logistics for that. It's identifying where we should knock. So what areas are the highest priority and why. And one of the things my team is focused on now is knocking on voters' doors who haven't turned out in elections in the past. So really trying to get them out to vote this year. So we have events, at least 3 times a week for that. So I need to make sure all the logistics are set. There's leaders in place for all of them, and then recruiting volunteers to come along and do that.
You mentioned that you have like an education background, sort of. So, what is there anything that you did that was sort of like, I want to say like politically oriented before you went into the campaign?
I'm going to be honest, this is like my first gig in politics. I've always voted and I paid attention to elections, but honestly, this is like my first big experience, and it has been so awesome and such a learning experience. Yeah.
Can you give me like the timeline of what you did first when you first came into the David Garcia campaign? I know we're talking how you were with Samra and you guys were sort of like the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it was really cool. I caught wind of basically a volunteer kickoff, and so I went, and it was like, we heard from David Garcia, we sort of, were inspired, and then we met in teams, and all of a sudden I found myself saying like, okay, I think I want to like lead this team. So I kind of, asked to step into that role and did that. And our team basically started, there was probably a group of about 10 or 15 of us that night, and then we started to meet monthly. You have to gather signatures to get a candidate on the ballot, and try to bring in new people to our group from our personal connections. And so that happened for several months, and then really starting in February is when we really began to kick off sort of the direct voter contact part of our campaign.
What would you suggest as an entry-level position for someone new in the political field?
I think first and foremost, it's finding issues you really care about and people who you see share the same values as you, and beginning to plug yourself in as a volunteer. There are so many opportunities for that, and there's such a need for people to then tap into their own networks to bring other people in. So I think that is the place to start. Find a cause or find somebody that you just feel really passionately about.
What do you enjoy about being in the political field at the moment?
Oh, it's the energy. It is so invigorating I mean, I'll give you a quick example. I mean, Saturday morning, I showed up for a volunteer event, and there were, over 100 people there, just sort of all united under this one vision. So it is so inspiring to me and invigorating to just, join with other people who, like I said, share my values and are really committed to this work.
Is there anything you dislike about working in the political field?
No, I mean, I think something that I've learned is, sacrifice, and this is not something I dislike, but it is definitely amazing to see how much time and energy and heart people put into this. And sometimes I really hope that people can sustain that because it takes a lot of work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is there a way that you're planning on trying to organize people from lower incomes or people that are less fortunate to come out to vote? I know that knocking door to door is one of the canvassing is that these people are trying to get people to vote.
Sure.
But is there something that you're doing to try to bring out like the people that might traditionally not have such a voice in politics where the vote is really all they can contribute?
I mean, that's a great question.
What would you say to the future voters of Arizona or the youth?
I would say your voice matters. I mean, it absolutely matters, and your vote counts. And I think it's our social responsibility to do our research and to stay informed and to stay engaged, so that our votes and our work can really lead to the Arizona that you or anybody really wants to have. So your voice matters, and there is also power in numbers when people come together, united around a collective goal.